Dear ChatGPT, I am broke. Can you give me a game idea that I can make in 24 hours? I'm gonna try to make my first mobile game in just one day. But how do you make a mobile game? And how do you get it on the app stores? And how do you add a battle pass to take advantage of kids with their parents' credit cards? All great questions, and I have no idea. But I have one day to find out. Here are the rules. I only get 24 hours, the game needs to be published to both app stores, and I need to include as many ads as possible. Kidding.
One tiny little ad.
If I'm being honest, I have no plan. Just gonna start the timer and hope it works out. To get started, we need to answer an important question. How do I make a game? And the pros will tell you,
well, it all starts with a game design document.
yeah, we're not doing that. I need an idea that's simple, but can be played forever. Something like Jetpack Joyride or Temple Run, where you just keep going infinitely, collecting gold and trying to get a high score. ChatGPT didn't help much. It mentioned a helicopter game that... Alright, stop, no more. As I was saying, helicopter game. Flies around, collects some stuff, shoots some stuff. I'm already down an hour, so let's just go with it. First thing we need is a player. I found these awesome helicopter models on the Unity Asset Store, and they're free.
Get that out of here.
We're doing it solo. I'm no good with 3D modeling. Luckily, cubes are barely 3D, and I ended up making something that's pretty decent. The giant blade on the top is called a rotor, and when it spins, it generates lift and thrust by using an intricate balance of aerodynamic forces. In other words, rotor spin spin, heli zoom zoom. The player spins the rotor with a button and angles the helicopter with a joystick. But unfortunately, phones don't have joysticks. Luckily, there's an awesome package on the Unity Asset Store that we can use.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
So now we're making our own joystick. I want the controls to be forgiving, so I'm using a touch zone. If the player touches in the black box, the joystick is activated. And if they drag the joystick too far, it starts to move towards them. That way, you don't have to go all the way back just to change directions. And it kinda works.
I will fix that later.
Helicopters shouldn't fly forever. They need gas, so I added a fuel mechanic. The player can find fuel around the map, but if they run out, they lose.
Hey, let's take a look at the time.
Alright, now for the map. Obviously, I don't have time to design and make a full-blown environment, but we can still do something cool. Let's start with a 5x5 grid. God, this looks boring. You know what this needs?
Time and effort?
No. It needs fog. So each grid cell is its own tiny environment. If we take two cells randomly and tell them to shuffle, we have a constantly changing map. And since each cell is tiny, they're much easier to customize. So we have our map, we have our helicopter, now we need enemies. If there's one thing I know about my viewers, it's that they're not subscribed.
Please subscribe.
And they love turrets.
Please stop asking for turrets.
So I'm gonna make a few different ones with unique stats. A rapid fire turret, a stun shooter, and a heat-seeking rocket launcher. The turrets are always tracking the heli. To do that, we just rotate the turret's body towards the target. And then to detect the player, we use something called a raycast, which is nerd talk. It's just an imaginary line between 2 points. If it hits its target, we shoot. If it doesn't, we try again. The turret's always tracking, but won't shoot until the player's within range. Each grid cell will have a few spawn points for each of the turrets.
Sir, you could fit so many turrets in this thing.
Alright, now we have enemies, but we don't have a way to fight them. So I'm giving the heli a machine gun, and I'll add more weapons later. Actually, if this video reaches 100 likes, I'll add the top commented weapon.
Shut up, nerd. Get back to work.
Now, there's a super important game development step that I always forget. Stop adding features and actually play the game to test it. And as you can see, I'm screwed. I'm also hungry, so I'm taking a food break. Alright, we're back. And we lost 4 hours. During the break, I fixed the helicopter controller and added some stats like speed and gravity. I figure later on, I can add more helis with different stats. Some will be faster, and some will be more patriotic. If we throw everything together into a map, we're actually looking pretty good. Flying around shooting turrets is fun and all, but we need more objectives. Let's see, what ideas can we borrow? Call of Duty. We already have the fuel pickup, but we need to add more to keep it interesting. So we're adding an insta-kill pickup, a nuke pickup, and a double coins pickup.
You haven't even made single coins.
We're also adding a coin pickup. We are 17 hours in. There's one thing left to do. So I signed up for Unity ads and just started throwing those things everywhere. We need to make a game mode. The game mode handles all the code and logic for spawning turrets, shuffling around the grid cells, and keeping track of the player's score. In other words, it's going to nuke the rest of my time. I can always add in more game modes later on, but I'm going to keep it simple for now with a survival mode. The player's goal is to survive for as long as they can, fighting off turrets and finding fuel. As time goes, more turrets spawn. There's also more pickups and coins. And I finally got to add in an advertisement. Every 5 waves, you're forced to watch. I'm kidding, no ads. Yet. So we now have a situation. I've done all the development work on my PC. I have yet to play this on my phone. Unity has this app that lets you connect your phone with a cable and test your games. And this is how it looks. And I hate it. Okay, so after some research, the Unity remote app is notorious for making games look bad. This comment right here, I don't like it. Is that a Discord link? Let's get out of here. To summarize, the Unity remote does not look great, but if I build the game on my Mac, it looks really good. With 2 hours left, I need to scramble to put on the finishing touches. We need a post-game screen to show the player how they did. I finally get to throw in an ad. Money. And we need a main menu. This is the boring stuff. I wish we could speed through this.
Cue development montage.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Recap time. I made a 3D main menu with the helicopter hovering around. The background is made of small grid cells that keep cycling, so it looks like it goes on forever. I threw in a shop button that currently does nothing, but eventually I'll have to come back and add some stuff for the players to spend their gold on,
And a $20 battle pass.
The post-game screen shows you how you did during the run and lets you know if you set a new high score. There's one ad, it's the only ad in the game, and it's completely optional.
Watch it a billion times.
And now it's time to publish this unnamed project. Okay, so we need a name and a logo. I don't think the name Heli Hoedown will do well, so I'm gonna go with Heli Havoc. And for the logo, I'm gonna use the Midjourney AI to make something real quick. You give Midjourney a prompt and it spits out 4 images. A real artist is always better, but considering we're out of time, I think this is okay. So now when I build the project to my phone, I can actually see the logo and the name, which is pretty cool, but not as cool as the next step, which is publishing the game and raking in billions of dollars.
It's a free game.
From one advertisement. I've actually published mobile apps before, and this process is super easy.
It wasn't super easy.
Starting with the App Store, you have to pay $100 just to get started, which is fine, I get it.
Still hurts though.
But after that, it's pretty straightforward. Make some art to show on your store page, submit, and wait. Google, however, Google has made things difficult. They have a new policy that requires you to test for 2 weeks, and with 20 testers, I don't know 20 people. So, if you're an Android user and you want to help out with testing, I just made a Discord you can join by clicking my bio. If you're an iPhone user, the game is already live, but I'm working on a few small bug fixes, so bear with me. And now, if you're still watching, I have a challenge. Today is September 1st. I'm looking for the highest Heli Havoc score by the end of the month. The winner decides what game I make next, and it can be anything.
Fishing simulator.
I'm competing in the challenge too, and this is my high score. Join the Discord, share your screenshots, and start thinking of what abomination you want me to make. Good luck.